What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Ha! Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
Fright! My name is Frankenstein!
Batman's got Mars!
Oh, no tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Nice community.
It's us.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny.
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Welcome to the debauchery.
What's up, all you horror movie loving fuckers? Welcome back to another episode of Fright, Flick, Fuck, Marry, Kill. And we got us a brand new one lined up for this week. It is a 2024 flick. It is, I think it's like brand new on Shudder or pretty fucking new. It's 2024, so I don't know, but new to me. But yeah, we're talking about the Demon Disorder. That's what we're going to be talking about this week. But there's some things we're going to talk about before we get into it. And there's some things I want to talk about because, you know, a lot of the housekeeping shit I saved till later. But there's certain things I want to go ahead and talk about now because I think it's important. And there's also a funny story that about how this week was supposed to go as far as the show. I'll tell you that at the end. So if you want to hear the kind of, I thought it was funny. Now I look at it and laugh, but before it pissed me off. But I'll talk about that at the end. There's a couple things I want to touch on before we jump into the Demon Disorder. And because on Instagram the other day, someone reached out to me, and I don't know how to pronounce his first name. It is spelled Rhys. I don't even know how to begin. Rise. I don't know. Last name's Thompson. I can say that part. I know that at least. But reached out to me and you know, commented on, you know, some of the posts and stuff like that. And he told me that there is a movie that he is the writer on. And it's once again independent horror. On this show, we love independent horror. We love showing support to them. And yes, he reached out to me and told me that he had like a little short, like a little, it's only like 8 minutes or so, what he sent me of a movie that is in the works. And it is directed by Jamie Langlands. Once again, I apologize if I butcher the shit out your names. Lang, Langlands, Langlands. Director, like I said, writer is Mr. Thompson. And it stars August Porter and Owen. Man, he's got another last name I can't pronounce. Lewellyn. But he hits me up. He's like, hey, I got this short. You know, he was wanting me to kind of like talk about it on the show. You know, and it's the plan is, the way I understand, is to be a full length movie. You know, that's the end goal. I think they even have their I think it's called Indigo right now, where you can, like, you know, buy perks and help support it. You know, I'm all for supporting independent horror. And he sent me a link to this little short that they made for this movie. The movie is called The R.I.P. Man. You know how we all rest in peace, the R.I.P. Man. And a little what I got off of like IMDb or what I found on the internet about it. The description: a serial killer with a dental condition targets teenagers in a wealthy town. A detective tries to identify and understand the murderer's motives. A young man confronts his past to stop the grisly killings. Now, he just sent me a little short they got on it, 8 minutes. And so, I'm talking about it just based off of what I seen in it. And I will say this. The RIP man played by Owen with the last name begins with L. I can't pronounce family. But I did. I like the creepy. He did this character for this movie. He's like this real pale faced bald guy, and when it comes to horror type stuff, I'm a bigger fan of movies where it's just somebody that's just strictly evil. Not like possessed, not like some type of superpower type shit, none of that. I enjoy those, don't get me wrong. But I like a movie where the character is just this evil person. And the RIP man is that guy. He's got this like normal kind of look, bald head, pale face, but he's got he's this creepy look to him. And the first time you see him in this little short he sent me, you see him kind of like from behind. And then when you finally get to see his face, there's a part where there's a girl who is August Porter, and she's like, looks like she's like getting her makeup on, getting ready to go out, maybe, go out on the town or whatever. And she's in this like super nice house. And he kind of walks up to it, and she's kind of like hearing noises and stuff. And, he's there because there's a part where she'll like go to the window and you finally see him, and he's got this fucking creepy looking smile. But he has this because in the description, he's got like a dental condition. Like the dude ain't got no fucking teeth, but he's got like this mouthpiece thing in his mouth that literally says RIP on it. And he does this little creepy ass grin. And he's just this evil looking guy. And so I did like that because this dude isn't some like, possessed by some shit. This dude's just straight up fucking evil. And yeah, and so basically in the little short, she's trying to go out. He basically gets into her house and he's after her to kill her type thing, and I appreciate, Mr. Thompson sending me that, let me have a little peek at it. And I'm looking forward to, as I'm 99.999% sure this is going to be like a full length movie. He just sent me like a little short on it. But I do like the guy. I do like the bad guy. August Porter, seems like she was really, good, and what little bit I got to see of it. But what the main thing is, I want to bring attention to movies like this, writers and directors who, these are their babies. These is something, an idea they have, and they're putting it out there. And I want to bring attention to it, to be on the lookout for the RIP man. You can actually, it's got like his own IMDb and everything, so you can look at it. Pull it up by the names of the director and the writer. And but yeah, it is. I was super, I was stoked that he sent it to me and let me have a little peek at it and asked me to talk about it on here. And I'm all for bringing attention to these types of movies, the ones that, are not getting all the publicity and all the talk behind it. It's independent stuff, man. They make it happen with very little sometimes. And so, Mr. Thompson, I appreciate you reaching out to me. I appreciate you letting me have a little peek behind the curtain to the RIP man. And I want to see just how evil he can be. You gave us a little taste. And I like the evil. I like the mean guys. And I want to see how hard he can go and just how much of, I just want to see what he can do. Because he's just one of them. He just seems like one of them, like, this strong ass motherfuckers that just, he comes in at one point and he like grabs old girl August Porter by the throat and kind of like lifts her up type thing. And, it was, I like it when it's somebody that just mean and hateful, other than somebody that's like got some possession type shit or whatever it may be. Don't get me wrong. I love those types of movies too, but I enjoy a good evil character that just wants to fucking murder some people. And, because there's even a little part in the 8 minutes where he's like, he takes out one of her teeth, one of her teeth. I don't know how the fuck you should say that in the proper way, high school diploma people. But he does this. He takes her tooth out and he's kind of holding on to it. And then he actually shows the part where he'll pull his little mouthpiece out and the dude has no teeth at all. I don't know if he's upset. Maybe he got picked on growing up, being the toothless wonder or whatever. But I'm looking forward to see what Mr. Thompson, Mr. Langland's what y'all got going on with that. And I'm letting you all know, be on the lookout for it. Look it up. They're on Instagram, and you can follow along with it, stay up to date on it. And but like I said, if you want to support it, they do have the Indigo. I don't have the links and shit right now, but like I said, you could find them on Instagram, IMDb, the RIP man. Director Jamie Langlands, writer RYRHYS. Sorry, Mr. Thompson, I can't pronounce your first name. But yeah, I just wanted to, say I appreciate them, sending me that, let me be able to watch it and just get on here and bring some attention to it. And yeah, and that's going to do it for that little piece. Now, we're not ready to dive in just yet, family. I got one little thing because, some of you are going to listen to me talk about this and then just, show your way out, which is fine. But what I want to do is let you know what's coming for next week. There's a special guest coming on the show next week, another special guest. And she is Miss Renee Huff. She is the owner, executive director of the Haunted House Fear Fest. And in the interview, we're going to talk about more of like, how about all the everything. We'll talk about it. But I just want to give you all a heads up of what's coming next week. We're sitting down. She's coming on the show. And because it's a film festival that for the independent type horror stuff she does, and it's hers. Like she owns it, she runs it, she does everything. And she's been nice enough and cool enough to come on this shit show and sit down. And I want to give her, just let the Fright Flick family get to know her. Let her know what she's got going on. And, somebody that's supporting the independent horror scene and is all about horror. She's a big fan of horror. And I'm super excited getting to sit down and talk to her. So that will be coming next week. It will not be the normal Friday. As soon as I do it, I'm going to get it pushed up because the film festival that she has is coming up soon that she puts on. And yeah, I said she's going to talk about all of that, but I just want to give you all a heads up. I'm going to start posting on the social media side the links to the website for the Haunted House Fear Fest, and and so you can kind of look at it and kind of know what's coming, get an idea of what we're going to be talking about and stuff. So I will be posting that leading up to it. But I'm super excited that she's coming on here and letting us have a little bit of her time because she's a lot busier lady than what I am. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that. That will be next week. And there is a funny story to all that we will talk about at the end of the show. So you have to hang around to get the little funny story that pissed me off at the same time. Now I look back at it and hell, it's still not really, well, I say funny. To me, it's not funny because, but we'll get to that. Now, all the housekeeping shit we're saving until later. Now we're about to get into, let me pull my notes up because I have to, yeah, I do have a few notes where I put descriptions, information like that because I don't remember shit very well. Everybody, before we dive in, everybody reach over, family, grab your drinks, take your little sip. Gentleman Jack Break. Thank you. Now we're about to jump into this brand new one on Shutter. And it's weird that I say brand new when I see 2024. But if you think about it and you look at the fucking calendar, here we are in about to hit October. 2024 is about over, people. So when I see 2024, it's kind of like, oh, this is a brand new movie. I don't really know when it hits Shutter. I check Shutter out every now and then. It's hit and miss sometimes with them. And so today I literally watched it today before I got on here and record. I was looking for something because, as you all know, if you've been around more than a day, I don't really have a plan of what's week to week. Every now and then I'll have a little idea, but I had no clue for this week. And so I get on there and I'm looking, and I went to Shutter and came across this one. I seen 2024. I'm like, oh shit, a new one. But then I'm like, holy fuck, we're in October. 2024 is almost over, people. It is flew by. Coming up on the best time of the year. The best time of the year. The fall's settling in, the cold weather's coming. It's hoodie weather and fucking horror movies and Halloween and pumpkin spice coffees and shit. Hey, we love some fall shit around here. And but yeah. So new on Shutter. The Demon Disorder. I'll read the quick little IMDb on this thing because I don't, you know me. This movie's going to tell a story about Graham, Jake, and Phillip. It says their last name. Maybe it's Reilly. I don't know. But either way, Graham, Jake, and Phillip, three brothers. And it's going to be about them and their deceased father. Their paths collide when a family secret is discovered, leading their father's garage to become the site of revenge from beyond the grave. This thing is directed by Mr. Stephen Boyle. Writers Stephen Boyle and Toby Osborne. This one, it's an Australian horror. And hey, I am a fan of Australian horror. I enjoy their movies. They put out some fucking bangers, and I enjoy watching them. And I did like it when I seen that this was an Australian. I love the Australian accents. I love listening to them talk. And so when I seen this one, I'm like, hell yeah, it's so cool listening to them. And but yeah, that's what we're talking about. I took me another Gentleman Jack break right there. Now, I will say I'm going to spoil the shit out of a movie. I'm going to spoil the shit out of this one. If you haven't seen it, if you don't mind it being spoiled, then okay, then hang around. If you want to see it first, like I said, it's on Shutter. Go watch it, come back and listen to me rattle on about it. And we're going to kind of go through it and spoil it and give our opinion on it when it's all said and done. I'm going to let you know if I'd rather fuck it, marry it, or kill it. Now, when this one starts off, I will say quickly that I really didn't know where this movie goes because it starts off with a little, like some religious stuff being said. And when I hear that, you're seeing this old guy who is like the father to Graham, Jake, and Phillip. And you're seeing him and you're hearing these kind of scriptures, not really a scripture, it's religious stuff. And I'm just thinking, oh, okay, it's going to be like this possession type movie. That's where I was going with it. I'm like, okay, I know there's a ton of them out there, people. There's a tons of everything out there from zombies, vampires, fucking possessed movies. It's a ton of stuff. I don't get caught up in the fact of oh shit, here we go, another possessed type movie. I don't do that. I just it doesn't bother me. It's a horror movie. I enjoy watching it. And so I don't get caught up in shit like that. But when it starts off, you're hearing like this little religion shit being spoken. And one of the things it says, it makes the line about the Lord will plague you with diseases to make you pay for the things you have done. And I'm seeing this old dude, and he's like chained to the fucking bed. The dude is like old, got some chains around his ankles, and he's just in this bed. And it kind of gives you the opening beginning. And so I'm thinking, okay, we got some possessed old fucker in the bed, and this is okay. And I'm okay with it. You know, it's got my attention. Then it kind of like somebody kind of, I couldn't tell in that moment if it was like a dream because this dude kind of wakes up. And I thought maybe it was like a nightmare he was having. Well, he goes outside and he's like calling for Jake. Jake is his brother. The dude that wakes up is Phillip. Phillip's like the baby brother. His brother Jake is out there. Out, they got like this little farm area, you know, got some chickens and shit. And I'm not mad at them. That's to me the perfect life. You know, out there in the little middle of nowhere, raising some chickens and shit like that. You know, just I like it. And so he says that when he walks out there, he sees Jake in their little barn. They got some cows, some chickens, you know, the normal farm shit. They got it going on over there. Well, then you hear he makes a comment. He says like Jake says it's happened again. Now, and then right out of the gate, it gives me this gross, nasty looking thing laying on the fucking ground. And it looks like it's a cow, a baby cow. Now, what it looks like to me is, you know, it didn't quite finish doing the cow thing inside of mama cow because it literally looks like this fucking thing was born and somebody like hung it up and just ripped the fucking fur off of it. It literally looks like just a skinned cow laying there looking all nasty and shit. Like it's a deformed, premature looking, I don't know, fucking car wreck looking thing laying on the ground. And so it's like, but it's making this weird fucking noise. Like, I don't, you know, it's, and he's got to put the cow out of its misery. You know, it's already been birthed. You can't put that fucking thing back up in mama cow and be like, you know what, it's not done yet. It's not a fucking microwave. You know, you can't shove it back up in there. So, you know, this cow's out there looking all fucking skinned and nasty, making this gurgly, growling noise. And then Jake pulls out his old pistol, got to put him out of his misery. Now, when he gets ready to do this, you see Phillip kind of walk out of the barn. But this, I don't know if it was meant to be, but for some reason, this cow made this sound that just, I don't think it's not the normal moo sound. It wasn't. It was this like growling type shit. Like this cow knew, like some shit was fucked up. And I'm just like, why the fuck does this cow sound like this? You know, and what we got is those two brothers, Jake and Phillip. Now there's another brother, Graham, who isn't there. Graham has doing his own thing. Graham owns like this like auto shop, works on cars and stuff like that. And so that's when you finally after that goes down with the fucking, you know, dying cow, we get to introduce to like Graham, who's the owner, not really the owner. I couldn't tell. I think it was his dad's auto shop at one point before dad got too old. And I think like Graham has kind of stepped away from Jake and Phillip and went to do his own thing. He's kind of running this little auto shop. He's got him a little helper. Her name is Cole. I thought it was Chloe the first time I listened, but no, they call her Cole. And she's young, you know, older than teenagerish. Looks like hell, she's 18, 19, whatever. I don't know. I don't do ages well, people. But so we get a shot of Graham and Cole in the little auto shop. She shows up, and he is basically, you know, telling her some stuff she can do around the shop or whatever. She works there. It's his. He runs it, whatever. And but there's a part where you see him open up a refrigerator and you see a birthday cake in there. It's like, you know, little decorated, got the little sprinkles on it with a number 28 on it. I didn't know if that meant like, did this dude have a son that had died or what? Come to find out that the 28-year-old is for the younger brother Phillip, who is the baby brother to Graham and fucking Jake. And so it was his birthday and he had this cake in the fridge, but apparently they're on the outs. Like he's not in contact with Jake and Phillip. He's kind of like, I guess he stepped away. They're not on good terms, but he's got this cake in the refrigerator and shit like that. And it comes to a part to where Jake shows up. And Jake's just kind of like, long bearded, dressed dirty, just got this like I'm a drunk type look about him. He shows up at um the little auto shop that day. And Cole, the mechanic girl, didn't know who he was. And so when he comes in, Graham's kind of surprised, kind of like he got that, like, what the fuck are you doing here type thing, and so he asked Chloe to leave him and his brother, and you can tell there's some friction there. They are on the outs. They have not hung out at Christmas time in a minute. They're not on good terms. And so and there's one part before that though, because I totally was respected Graham a little. He takes out the birthday cake and he takes it over to the counter. And I'm one of those that when it comes to cake, I'm the same way when it comes to ice cream. I love cake. I love ice cream. I am not a believer in needing a plate or a bowl if I'm in my house with it. If that's my ice cream in the freezer, if that's my cake on the counter, I don't feel the need to grab a bowl or a plate to eat it. I will go in there, grab my little thing of ice cream out of the freezer, and come on back to the couch and I'm eating it that way. I'm not putting it in a bowl. That's my ice cream. I don't need a bowl. The ice cream container is my bowl. The cake on a plate, that's my plate. If that cake's in a pan, the pan's my plate. I'm eating it right then. It's in our house. It's our cake. My wife, she gets it. She knows how I am, you know, and so he pulls out the cake and he kind of walks away with it. I'm like, there you go, Graham. You go eat that fucking cake right off the plate you put it on after you made it. You don't need a plate. Your house, your garage, eat the fucking cake however you want to. Now, when old boy Jake shows up, he kind of sees the cake sitting there and he's talking to him, and you instantly can tell right at the gate these dudes don't like each other. And they're not really, they don't like each other. Like maybe they had a falling out, maybe, a little family headbutt at some point, and they're just not on good terms. Jake's basically telling Graham, the one who owns the auto shop, who has stepped away, just trying to live his best life, eat his little, eat his cake off the plate, run his little garage, do his own thing. Jake shows up and, Jake's like a little drunk, kind of. You can tell he's been drinking because even Graham makes some comments about it, like how he, because he sees him in there. He's already went to his fridge and grabbed like some beer. And, Graham makes comment how he can smell the tequila on him and shit like that. So Jake's got some issues. And so Jake's basically telling Graham, you need to come back home. And Graham's like, that's not fucking happening. Not going back home. And he pulls out a cell phone and he shows Graham this video on his cell phone. On the video, you see like kind of like this young guy kind of standing there with his back to the camera as he's filming this. It's like a little video. And as he's watching it, you see the kid turn around and you hear somebody say, why do you have that hammer? Put the hammer down. Well, then this person comes charging at the person with the phone with this hammer. And then it just kind of, the video kind of stops. And basically what is going on is that's Phillip. That's the baby brother in that video that looked like he was fucking nuts. And they start talking about some shit that you kind of pick up on. Something must have went down with the dad. And, I'm thinking like it was just like a shitty childhood or some shit. Like they just fucking, the dad was a piece of shit. Mom was gone and dad was just a fucking asshole. That's kind of where I thought it was at. And so after he shows him that video, and you can tell like it's almost like he's surprised by it, but there's a part of him that you pick up on that he's not surprised about what he's seeing right now. Like this is not the first. Something has happened at some point to where this doesn't just kind of be like, what the fuck is going on? No, like there's some history here. And so basically, Jake's going to talk Graham into coming back home, the house where they grew up at. And like I said, Jake and Phillip lived there. Graham had left. He literally couldn't stay there. He left. And it was basically just Jake and Phillip there. Now this shit's going on with fucking baby brother Phillip. And now he needs Graham to come back, and so he shows back up. He brings him back home. As soon as they walk into the house, man, the house is not, they're not clean people. It kind of bugged me seeing some of the way that the fucking walls look, the doors look and shit. It was just nasty. And a lot of religious stuff in there. He's seen some crosses and shit. And that's why I kept thinking this whole time. I'm like, okay, we got this like this, this demon possession. You've seen the title of the fucking movie, people. I'm thinking it's like this, like possession type shit. And then so basically Jake's like, it's late. Philip's asleep. It's late. I'm gonna go crash out. We'll pick this back up tomorrow. And there's a couch for Graham. And I'm going, why is it a couch? Dude, you used to live in this house. You should have a bedroom. And I'm like, why are you crashing on the couch? Dude, like, where's your room? You were all in there at one point. So dude hits on the couch. As soon as he gets on the couch, you start hearing some noises. And when he starts looking around, it's like a little radio static noise, some old radios. And you see this door. It's like boarded up. Like there's boards on the outside to where it's like, where you can't go in there. But it looks like the door can still open, but like the boards are there to like stop you from fucking, I don't know. There's no door handle on the door. That's what gets me. The door handle has no door. And it looks like the boards are nailed to the door frame, but not to the door. So I'm like, I don't get that, because with no door handle, you could literally just push the door open. And that was odd to me. Maybe I'm just not smart or whatever. But and he's kind of hearing this stuff, and he kneels down. He's kind of looking through the hole that's in the door. He's looking through it. And you hear kind of like these noises, and I'm like, and it's like this screaming sound. And all of a sudden he kind of wakes up. I'm like, oh, okay, nightmare type shit. That's what he was having. And but while all this nightmare shit's going on, there's more. He has like this other, it's almost like it's a flashback or it's like a dream, but it's more like a flashback of like their dad in the kitchen. And you're hearing this noise, this crunching type of noise. And you're seeing that they're giving you these shots of this dude in the kitchen. And it kind of goes dark, but then when it kind of lightens back up again, the dad's standing there, got these blacked out eyes, looking like a zombie possessed, creeped out. And he's standing there with this fucking chicken in his hand, this bloody ass chicken. And it looks like he's been trying to eat the chicken or skin the chicken or whatever, but the chicken's dead. And he's just kind of standing there holding it by the neck. And all of a sudden, Graham kind of wakes up. I'm like, okay, he's dreaming. Or, is this something he has seen before? Like, is this why he left? Is this why he no longer hangs out with the family? Because, dad was batshit fucking crazy trying to eat the chickens. And so Jake's trying to talk to Graham, and he's basically telling him, like, Jake knows some shit's up. Jake's been there. Jake and Phillip have been there. Graham packed the shit up and left town, which I don't blame Graham one bit. I blame Graham for bringing his ass back to that house. I would have no. I'd have been like, sorry, brother, no, we're not. If there's a problem with Philip, then you just load Philip up and bring him here. I ain't going back there. But he goes back there, and so it you don't know what the fuck's going on at this point. You don't. You have no. I have no clue. I don't know if we got a possession movie. The dad is dead at this point. Dad is no longer living, and so he has passed away. And Jake basically tells Graham, like, since dad has died, all the cows and shit have been like stillborn, which is that fucking mess in the beginning of that little skin looking blob laid on the ground. Basically all the cows have been stillborn. And he just keeps saying that he's still here. Like Jake's saying he's still here. Like he is the dad. Like the dad's still here. And Graham's kind of like, like, no, dad's dead type shit. And him and Jake are kind of knocking heads because Jake's kind of looking at him like, dude, you haven't been here. You don't know what type of shit is going on here. Jake trying to make my dude Graham feel guilty. Like, you don't know what the fuck. Hey, I'm on Graham's side right here. I would have got the fuck out of Dodge. They could have left, and as the movie kind of unwinds when it gets toward the end, I'm like, y'all was hating on my man Graham for leaving earlier, but if the dad died, why the fuck did y'all stay there? If some shit was fucked up in that house, I'd have been like, you know what? We're gonna take a play out of Graham's playbook and we're getting the hell out of here. But they stayed there. And that morning, while they're talking, Jake and Graham, the youngest brother, Philip, the one that was in the video that was losing his shit with the hammer, he comes downstairs. He's acting all normal. He's not fucking like that person in the video because apparently he remembers nothing of what went down with him trying to kill Jake with that hammer. He remembers nothing. But he comes downstairs like everything's good. He sees Graham sitting there and he kind of puts two and two together. Philip's like, oh, he figures out that Jake must have asked him to come there because Graham hasn't been there in a long minute. He packed his shit and left and ain't been back because they even talk about it. But when he sees Graham, he kind of figures, like, oh, I guess, after that little episode that, Jake went to you. And, Graham's even telling him, like, I don't remember anything. But so then when this goes on, you see them kind of hug, that little brotherly hug, like, it's been a minute, but hey, come on. They hug each other. But there's a part on Philip where you'll see it. He's I couldn't tell if it's like he's got like a shirt on over a tank top or whatever, and he kind of lifts his arms up. He has these marks under his like armpit area, like hole looking things. It's just a quick shot of it, but there's something there that ain't normal. And when Graham asked him, Philip's kind of like it's like an allergy thing, And while they're talking, you can tell you're watching Jake, and Jake is like, there's a part of him it just kind of puts like he's scared of Philip, like he knows like something's off with Philip, and he's just Jake's over there pouring fucking mixing whiskey with his coffee right out the gate in the morning. Like Jake drinks all fucking day, and it's just his way of being able to deal whatever the hell's going on in that fucking house. And so, because there's a part where Graham, after all this, Graham has like a little flashback to growing up. Because I said earlier, I thought maybe they had like a really shitty childhood, like dad was a piece of shit. But it wasn't. A little flashback, is before Philip came along. You get Jake and Graham kind of in the bathroom brushing their teeth. The dad comes in and he's kind of like laughing with them, joking with them, like they're good. It wasn't like he was an asshole. They were good. The kids laughing and shit like that. And so it ruled that part out for me, where I was like, okay, maybe he was an asshole dad, and that's why. But no, they got along. Well, then that night, our dude Graham is still on the couch. I don't know where the fuck the extra room went. I don't know. Maybe they had 2 bedrooms before Phillip came along. I don't know, but he's still on the couch. And so he hears a little bit of noise. Uh, because before he wakes up, you see from like the view of something walking through the house. And then it goes into Philip's room, and Philip's sitting on the side of the bed, and it's calling Philip's name. And then it says it kind of whispery at first, and then when it kind of gets in there, it kind of gives you like that, like Philip, like that. Growing up, there was a certain way my mama would say our names, and that we knew we need to be moving, or we done messed up and we need to be on the go. There's a certain tone in the voice when mama used to call us that we knew. And the way this thing was like whispering, kind of like, Philip, Philip. And then I guess Philip wasn't moving fast enough. So it gets in there and it's like, kind of like, Philip, little like, fucking I'm calling you. And so you see that, but then Graham wakes up on the couch again. I don't know if he was fucking dreaming again. Wasn't dreaming. He goes, starts looking around. He hears some noises. And he goes to the room Philip's in. Goes to flip the light on. The lights don't come on. Shocker, right? In a horror movie, the fucking lights don't work. It was a shock to me too, people. But no light. And so he pulls out the cell phone, flips on the little flashlight on the cell phone. He's kind of looking around the room. You're hearing a little noise in the room, a little thumping noise. You're hearing it. I'm like, he's kind of looking around. I figure out what the fuck's going on. Philip is not there. Philip is not in his room, but you're hearing this little noise. And he gets closer to the bed, and he can tell it's coming from under the bed. So he kneels down with a little cell phone flashlight, and he goes to pull up the blanket hanging down offside the bed. He goes to pull that shit up, and there is a fucking chicken under Philip's bed. And the bird, the old chicken, it's not 100%. It's not doing great. It looks like it's kind of fucked up, like it can't get away, like kind of bloody, can't tell. I'm not really sure how it was stuck under the bed, because all it was like blankets coming down on the side. There was nothing holding this chicken under the bed, because this chicken's freaking the fuck out. And Graham just kind of reaches over, grabs the chicken, pulls him out. I'm like, man, what's up with this chicken under the bed? Was because you remembered earlier where it was crazy old daddy in the kitchen holding the chicken by the neck, and maybe this little demon thing likes chicken. I don't know. But this chicken's under the bed. He pulled the chicken out. I'm like, I don't understand. Why couldn't the chicken get out? Did the little blanket confuse the chicken? Like, do chickens, like, if you put something in front of them, they just assume they can't go and it just stays there? I don't know. I don't know chickens. But he basically pulls the chicken out. He's going to take the chicken outside. As he's going outside to, like, I guess take the chicken back to the chicken coop, because there is a chicken coop. They have a little shed where they keep the chickens. They get the eggs, And so he goes out there with the chicken. When he gets out there, he kind of sets the chicken down on the ground, and then he looks, and there's a dead chicken on the ground. He walks up to that chicken, looks, there's another dead chicken on the ground. And I'm just like, man, what is it with this fucking family and chickens? But he kind of goes toward the chicken coop. And in the chicken coop, you're hearing this kind of crunchy, like bone crunching sound. And that's one of them sounds that creeps me the fuck out. Like, you get those possessed type movies where the people can bend and shit, and you hear the bones crack. Oh, that shit fucking gets me. But you're hearing this little crunchy sound. And so Graham goes up into the little chicken coop, looks over there, and our boy Philip is on the ground. You see him kind of like from the back. He's on the ground, getting down on this chicken. Like he's eating this chicken. That the bones you hearing is Philip eating these fucking chickens. And so Graham walks in way too kind of like calm, in my opinion. And so he kind of comes at him like, in this whole little like, hey man, are you okay? Not the reaction I would have had. I wouldn't even be on that fucking farm. I'd have been gone. I'd have been, sprinting back somewhere else. I'd have been gone. But he looks in there. He's like, hey man, is everything okay? Philip turns around growling. Like the fucker is growling at you and you still hanging in there. Brotherly love, I guess. I don't know. But I have two brothers. If I walked in on my little bro John munching down on some chickens, I don't know. I think I would, back out slowly because at that point I don't see where there's nothing else I could do at that point. But he calls his name. Philip turns around growling. And then Graham is dumb enough to walk into the fucking chicken coop with him. Philip jumps up, jumps on top of him, like screaming, blood all over his face and shit, because he's been eating fucking live chickens. And you see him bite Graham like on the chest area, right around the good old manly nipple area. He bites him. And then when he bites him, he like literally takes a piece out of him because you see him kind of set up, spit it out, blood all over his mouth and shit. And fucking Graham screaming. All the screaming wakes up old boy Jake in the house. Jake comes out. Next thing you know, Jake and Graham are bringing Philip back into the house. They bring him to the bathroom. Blood's everywhere. Chicken blood everywhere. Graham's bleeding because he got a chunk bit out of his fucking man boob. And yeah, the whole thing's a fucking shit show right there in the bathroom. And then you get they're laying there trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. But then the next thing you know, you get the first shot of what is possibly going on. Philip's on the floor in the bathroom. You see something in his neck, this bulging out, and you see it working up towards his mouth. And so Jake's kind of like, they don't know what the fuck it is. Jake reaches in there trying to fucking grab this thing out of his mouth. When it finally comes out of Philip's mouth, it is this like a slug, like this old slimy snail looking slug thing comes out of his mouth, hits the floor, and then it starts getting away. It's not like snail slow. It's got a little speed to it. It kind of like this little slug, slimy thing kind of takes off, works his way out. Graham and Jake see it, don't know what the fuck's going on. They try to go after it. The door shuts and they can't get out of the bathroom. But then the door opens, they finally get out of the bathroom. I don't know. Did the slug have some kind of fucking, magical demon power? I don't know. And one thing about this movie, you never understand where the slimy slug comes from. It just doesn't. I was hoping like maybe is this like is it an alien thing? I don't know. But this thing is inside of Philip. It comes out, it takes off running, they go looking for it. It's funny because when the door finally opens, fucking Graham and Jake are like going to look for it. And what it reminded me of at one point, as they're looking for it, they find it. It's up on the ceiling in the house, and they look up at it, and they got to get it. And so Graham runs off and grabs like a broom and a little like trash bag, like looks like a little Walmart bag. Those bags we use in our bathrooms. That's our trash bag in the bathrooms. Have one of these little bags. And he runs in, he gets this broom, and he gets his bag. And he brings it back to Jake, and because this thing's literally up on the ceiling, and it reminded me of the movie. What was it? The Great Outdoors, older movie with John Candy, Dan Aykroyd, and shit. There's a part in that movie where there's a bat that gets into the cabin, and they're running around trying to get this fucking bat. And it was funny in a way because he comes in there with the broom. Jake has the broom. He's swatting at this slug thing hanging from the ceiling, trying to get it down. Graham's running around with this little bitty Walmart bag. I would have wanted something a little bigger bag, something. But he's got this little bitty Walmart bag. Jake's swapping at it, and it finally falls off the ceiling. Boom. Um, not Jake, but Graham's got the good hands with the little grocery bag, catches the fucking slug in the bag, wraps it up. They take off to the kitchen. This whole time they're doing this, Philip's still on the fucking floor in the bathroom. This thing is literally crawled out of his mouth and has made his escape in the living room. Now they have the slug in this bag. They go to the kitchen. They pull out one of those old plastic Tupperware things used to put a cake in. My mom used to have one. It's like little plastic bottom, put the cake on it, little clear top sits over it, snaps on the sides. That's what they put this slug thing in, and it gives you a little close up. This thing is fucking creepy, nasty looking. Nothing about that thing says like demon possession type shit. This thing looks like some just not from this earth type thing, like just nasty. And so I'm like, well, shit, there goes my, it's just like one of them old possession type movies. But then it gets to a part where I'm kind of it made me go like, what the fuck are we doing? Because it will do a flashback. Again, there's times in this movie where it gives you the little flashback of what actually happened. And so you get this flashback of the dad and Philip. And he comes in. This is when dad's still alive. Graham has moved on. And so I think he's moved on. No, I think he was still there at the time. Whatever. But fucking Philip comes in, got some soup for daddy. And he's like, here's your soup. Daddy is chained to the bed. Like at this point, they have him by the ankles chained to the bed. So some shit's been going on. But now he comes in to give him the soup. The dad kind of calls him over and he's telling him that he left it in too long. That's what he said. He left it in too long. And I'm like, confused as fuck at this point because you just seen this little fucking slug come out of the mouth of Philip. They caught it in a bag, things in a little Tupperware thing. And then you hear the dad making these comments about he left it in too long. And you see the dad turn where he's got like this growling type way toward Philip. And when Philip runs out, the dad is yelling, like, where do you think it's going to go when I'm gone? Like, whatever it is inside. I figured out, like, okay, whatever that thing is at one point inside the dad. The dad died. It left the dad. I don't know. You never really get that, how it ended up just roaming around the house until it can crawl. It crawled inside of fucking Philip. Now, at this point, Graham's still hanging in there. They're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. Cause now they got this slug thing that they caught on the kitchen counter. And Philip makes a comment to them that he's coming back. And Graham starts asking him, like, are you saying that this thing is dad? Like, is this slug like the soul of dad? I don't know. I don't know where the slug came from. I don't know how, if daddy did get into the slug. I don't know. It never really gives me that. We just know we have us a slug crawling around there that gets inside of people. And you come to find out that apparently this slug thing needs a body to be in to grow. Like that's what it's doing. It has to be inside something. I thought, okay, was it just one? But I don't know. Because at this point, they have got the slug out of Philip. You're thinking, okay, now that you have it out of him, let's fucking destroy it. Let's fucking light a match to it, burn it up, stomp it, whatever we gotta do. But no, they, Jake and Graham decide to like, we're going to figure this thing out. They're not going to call for help because they dealt with enough shit with their fucking dad, and it's like they're not bringing no attention. They don't want the police call. They don't want no ambulance call. Nothing. They're like, we got to take care of this. And I'm just like, I would have fucking had that little slug thing on the plate, and I'd have walked outside. The three of us would have went outside, and I'd have fucking lit a match and burnt that little shithole down with the little slug in it. But they don't. They're just like, we're gonna figure this out. Well, then the next day, I can't remember if it's the next day. The one part that really bugged me, our dude Jake is outside with all the dead chickens. He's like going out trying to clean the mess up because this is like the day after our boy Phillip went fucking psycho and started eating chickens out in the coop. So now Jake's out there trying to clean that shit up. You know, he's got a little wheelbarrow throwing all the dead chickens in there. He's like, you can tell he's upset. Like, you know, he likes having his chickens. You know, you could tell it bugs him that all the chickens are dead. Then in the house, we got Phillip chained to the bed. They're doing him the same way the daddy was, chained to the bed. Graham comes in there talking to him. He's like, hey, checking on him and shit. And Phillip's basically telling him, like, you know, it's not in me now, so I'm good. And so I'm like, and this is the part that I didn't like because there's a part to where Phillip asks him, he tells Graham, like, I want to see it. Like, he wants to see this thing that crawled out of his fucking mouth. And he's like, I want to see it. He's like, take these chains off of me. Untie me. Let me go in there. Guess what Graham does? Graham does exactly that. He basically takes these chains off. Let's Phillip go. I'm thinking to myself, okay, you're going to walk him into the kitchen. You're going to be there next to him. You're going to let him take a peek at the little cake container, see the little slimy slug in it, and then, hey, let's put you back in the bed there, buddy. No. Graham is not that fucking smart, or he's just that fucking dumb because you got Jake out there tending to the dead chickens. Then Graham goes into the bathroom where everything went down the night before with a little mop bucket, cleaning up all the blood and shit that's all over the bathroom, trying to clean it up. And I'm sitting there going, where the fuck is Phillip? And I'm going, I know you didn't just unchain him and let him just roam around. Well, then fucking A, it shows Phillip's in the kitchen by himself looking at the little cake thing with the little slug inside of it. They got the little snaps that snapped on, you know, shit like that. Phillip's looking at it. And at one point you see his hands go towards the cake thing. And I'm sitting there going, this motherfucker is he opening up the cake thing? I don't know. You never fucking know because it doesn't show you that. And while all this is happening, Graham isn't doing so well. Graham, remember earlier, people, he got bit around the nipple area. He got bit by Phillip. Now he goes into the bathroom. He kind of pulls his shirt down, and you see this bite. It is nasty looking. Like, you need to put some peroxide, some neosporin, something on that shit because the shit, you can tell it's not good. When he's kind of looking at it, when he looks at it in the mirror, it looked to me, you know how I like an eye, you know, your eye blinks. Well, this little thing, it looked like a little nipple sticking out, like a nipple in the nipple area, but it's kind of sticking out. And when he looks in the mirror, this thing looks like it blinks. And I said, what the fuck? Is that like an eye? So when fucking Phillip bit him, they did like it was like let whatever that shit was. Now he has one too, you know, and you don't get that answer either. It doesn't. You never know where they come from, how they operate, what their game plan is. Like, do they just, we bite you like a zombie bite? This thing goes inside of you. That's how they reproduce. I don't know, but it 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 starts kind of all coming to ahead because at one point it starts telling you what happened, how it all went down, how the dad died. It gives you that story to where dad's there. Um, One of the brothers comes in there, like, we got to end this. Dad's fucking loony. We just need to end it. He's going to try to kill off the dad. Dad doesn't die because dad's got the fucking slug in him and he jumps up like a zombie looking thing. But then another brother comes in and he's the one that kills the dad. And so I took it after the dad died. That's when fucking Graham decided, like, you know what? I got to get out of here. And so it gives you the story about like how the dad died type shit. And so it also shows you that Jake starts kind of losing it because Jake goes after Phillip. And he's kind of like, because Jake's having these flashbacks and shit of what all went down. And, when that shit went down with the dad getting killed, it wasn't Jake, people. Jake was the pussy sitting in the corner, fucking, acting like he's scared to death of what's going on. And I don't really blame him because of as fucking crazy as that dad was, I kind of get it. So Jake starts kind of losing it and he kind of goes after Phillip. Yeah, he knows that, like, for them, that thing is their dad, is in him because he's like trying to fight Phillip. And he's like, why are you here? Leave us alone, type shit. And our boy Graham breaks it all up. But then at some point, Graham's going to tell Phillip, like, we need to get out of here. And so at this time, this is right when fucking Jake was fighting Phillip. And so when Graham comes in to separate it, he basically puts Jake in like a little, UFC chokehold, chokes him out. He's out. Then Graham tells Phillip, he's like, it's his house. We got to get out of here. We got to get out of here. Phillip then looks at Graham and says, what about him? The other brother, the one that went and brought you here. Like, and then Graham's going to be like, let him sleep it off. I'm sitting there going, holy fuck, dude. Like, you're literally going to just snatch up Phillip and get the hell out of Dodge and leave your other brother just laying there because, I don't know, because he's the fucking drunk and I don't know. But like, you helped Phillip get in the car and y'all started to leave town. Like, y'all couldn't have loaded my boy Jacob in the back of the little SUV thing they rolling around in. You couldn't have just threw him in the back, took him with you. No, they just leave him there. They're making their way out of town. Then we bring us back around to our girl Cole in the garage. Like, she's in there working, doing her, because he had told her that she can come in there and work, in her off time, little project, whatever she has. So she's in there, she's got a little music playing, got her a little smoking, a little something, just enjoying it. Well, the next thing you know, here comes fucking, we get Graham and Phillip now in the garage, back in the garage. Now we got Graham, we got Phillip, and now we got our girl Cole all in there together. You can tell our girl Cole, she takes this whole situation way too well. Like, first off, you in there. Next thing you know, these two come running up in there. And you see your boss man, your buddy there, Graham, like bloody t-shirt and shit, carrying Phillip into the little garage area. And she handles everything way too fucking calm. Like, she's just, I don't know. It was just this weird way of like, no, I would have been like freaking the fuck out because Philip's sitting there all bloodied up and shit. Graham basically tells her, I need you to watch him. I'll be right back. I'd have been like, I quit, boss man. I'm out. So she's there with him, like with Philip. The possessed Philip is still fucked up, even though that because you're thinking to yourself, because he's fucked up again. You can tell by the way he's acting. And so you're thinking to yourself, okay, he went into that kitchen to a little cake platter and he let that slug back in. That's what you're thinking because you see him acting the same way again. I'm like, I knew it. You shouldn't have unchained his ass. You shouldn't have left him in the fucking kitchen by himself, Graham. So now Philip possessed, whatever I say possessed, but it's not. I don't know. He has like this parasite thing inside of him, and so Graham goes up into his office. You see Graham pulls his shirt down again. That little fucking little third nipple looking thing on his chest. He is trying to figure out how to get it out. Can't do it. While all this is going on, our girl Cole basically is she went to do something. She went to check on Graham. And when she came back out there, our dude Philip was no longer sitting where she left him. And I'm like, oh, like, but just watching the way she is during this part of the movie, when it's coming toward the end and everything's coming together, she's just way too just. It was almost funny to a point when it starts getting toward the end because some of it was just the way she's acting. And Jake finally shows up. Jake woke up from getting choked out and probably thinking like, where the fuck these dudes go? How just gonna leave me here? Jake shows up at the garage, gun in hand, bumps into Cole. And, so he's in there now and we're all in there together. Now, there's a part where Graham just comes out and tells Cole, he's like, Philip's possessed. And she just takes it in stride. Like, there's no kind of like, what do you mean he's possessed? Like, what's going on here? And he just blurts it out. The next thing you know, walls are shaking, hubcaps are flying off the fucking wall. And our girl Cole is trying to call 911. But then Graham's like, no, you can't call. Do not call police, nobody. So she's on the phone. You're hearing them on the phone, and you're hearing like the 911 people are there. And we all know people. I've watched enough shit on the ID channel and stuff like that. Like when you make that call to 911, if you stay on there long enough, you're not saying anything, they're tracing that shit. They're going to send somebody out there for a little wellness checkup to see what's going down. So I'm like, okay, at some point, the popo is going to show up. So all this is going down. They go out there and they basically have to chain Philip back down again because he's apparently got this slug parasite. I don't know. And there's a part to where next thing you know, they tell Chloe to go wait in the office. Chloe could have left. I don't know why she didn't leave. As soon as I'd have seen some fucked up shit going down, I'm like, this ain't my fucking family. I'm out of here. But Chloe, the trooper she is, hung in there through the whole fucking shit show. And so after they have him tied down and they're like, we need a crucifix. Like the crucifix is going to do something to the fucking slug, the alien looking slug thing. And they have like this muffler made into like a cross and it's like hanging up on the ceiling. And I couldn't tell, like, did they like have it hanging over Philip to be like, that's the crucifix, we're keeping him down there on the ground type shit. And so they basically decide, as they're sitting inside of a car in the garage, they're sitting in the car. Philip's over there chained to the floor, basically with a muffler cross above him. They're sitting in the car and they're talking. And they basically come up with the idea like we got to get this thing out of him. So that's the plan. And it was kind of funny in that moment because they do come across as like two just, how brothers are. If you've had brothers or you have sisters or whatever, or you just had them little like back and forth little arguments. And they're in this car. And it's kind of funny because they are kind of back and forth. And well, the next thing you know, they get ready to make their move, the plan to do it. Next thing you know, there's some banging on the doors. The police have shown up now. So now they can't have the police in there. So the plan, here we are in this garage, kind of like, it's kind of quiet. It's late at night. And you got two police officers outside knocking on the door. You got fucking Phillip possessed or whatever by the fucking slug, like growling and making all kind of fucking noises. They decide they unchain him. They basically take him to like the break room area. They put him in the break room. Graham tells Jake, "You go to the office and keep Chloe quiet." Like, damn, why the hell y'all hating on Chloe now? Like, y'all mad because, yeah, she's the one that got the popo there. So at one point you think, are you going to try to fucking kill her off or some shit? But Jake goes in there with his gun. He's got Chloe, keeping her in the room quiet. Graham's going to go to the fucking garage door. And hold on one second. Gentleman Jack break. Now, Graham goes to the damn garage, opens it up very little. The two police officers are outside. They had a call, came from a landline, because her cell phone goes dead when she tried to call again. It's a horror movie, people. You either got no cell phone service or the batteries are dead. You have to have it. So her battery's dead. Well, there's a landline in the office. She uses the landline, calls, and just kind of like leaves the phone off the hook type thing or whatever. But police traced it, showed up there. Graham's trying to play the whole like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm really busy. Trying to get them to leave. And then we get to the part where they have left Phillip in this little break room. Phillip is in some serious pain right now. He's making some kind of loud noises that I know good and damn well that fucking garage does not have a soundproof break room, that the shit would have been echoing through the damn building. But the police ain't hearing shit. They're out there still talking to Graham. Back in the break room, Phillip is getting loud because the next thing you know, remember earlier where he had them little marks under his arm, his armpit area? There's some shit bulging out right now, like a hernia bulging out of the armpit area. Now, this is where this part was gross to me because they made it too much like a childbirthing scene. The little thing that's been inside Phillip has now it has got to a point to where it wants to come out now, and it can, I guess, survive on its own. But as he's lifting his arm, you see this thing coming out of his arm, slimy, slug-looking, nasty thing coming out of under his arm, like giving birth from the armpit shit. And he's all loud and shit, and nobody's hearing it. Like, this thing came out of your armpit, dude. There has to be a fucking hole where this thing came out. It's not like a fucking vagina. When vaginas, give birth, they're built to be able to like open up, and then whatever, the thing comes out, and then the vagina does what the vagina does. Childbirth is disgusting to me. I hate it. Grosses me out. But, armpits are not meant to do that, people. Your armpits are not meant to stretch. So when this thing's coming out of his armpit, I'm thinking like it is literally ripping a hole into your side. And you should be screaming in pain. But nothing's heard. The fucking police don't hear shit. Next thing you know, this thing like literally falls out of his armpit. Big slimy worm slug looking thing. And then it starts kind of like coming out of like a cocoon type looking thing, arms, legs, alien. This I don't know. It was, you know, it was gross because it looked too much like a childbirth scene to me. But the police are going back and forth. They finally get fucking basically it gets to the point where they're coming in that garage. They hear a little noise in the background. You don't hear fucking Phillip screaming. You don't hear this fucking alien thing in there, the slug making this little screeching sound. You don't hear that shit, but you hear a little something that, you know, somebody bumps into something and it falls off a shelf, and that you hear. And so they're like, oh, now we got to come in. So they come up in there. And then Graham going to do the dumbest thing possible, in my opinion. As soon as they get in there, Graham tells them, oh, you don't need to go down there. There's nothing down there. Um, I I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but if I was a police officer and I walked into somebody to look around, and the first thing out of your mouth pretty much is, there's no need to go down there. There's nothing down there. Guess where the fuck I'm going, people? I'm going down there. But it was just so kind of like just, oh, don't go down there. And I'm just like, really? And then at no point have they heard anything going on. And so they're looking through there. The police lady and the police guy. The police lady is telling Graham, like, it came from a phone line. Your phone line, he's like, it's in my office. He's like, well, I need to see your office. Let's go in your office. And he's just playing this dumb, like, that's my office. Like, hey, hey, guy, they're going to go in there at this point. And so when she goes to do that, the guy cop goes wandering and looking. Well, he stumbles across the break room, and floor's got some blood and shit on it. We got fucking Phillip is curled up, like sitting in the little toilet room area of the break room, sitting there, like, and I'm sitting there going, like, you should be bleeding out because this thing just birthed right out of your armpit, dude. Like, there should be a lot more blood, you know, but it doesn't. There's nothing. It's like this thing come out of his armpit and everything just went back to normal almost. I don't know. But when he sees him, there's a shower right next to him in this little break room, like the shower. You see the shower curtain. When he sees fucking Phillip, the cop looks and you see some legs or whatever underneath the curtain, and they kind of slide back up in there. At this point, as soon I would think, as I'm not a police officer, but I'm thinking as soon as police guy walks in there and he sees him, he should be relaying that shit to his partner. Like, if you got to be yelling it out, hey, we got somebody in here or something. But no, he goes in there, sees him, sees the little creepy looking thing under the shower curtain, and he still doesn't make a sound. Because back at the office, our damn police lady and Graham go up into the office. Jake still has Cole at gunpoint, keeping her quiet. Nobody's heard anything to this point. Our dude he did some armpit birthing, didn't hear shit. Little slug thing comes out of his cocoon making some screechy noises. He's got like arms, legs, deformed looking, fucking just nasty looking. Nobody hears anything. They separate. Partner goes up into the break room. We see the dude. We see something creepy. We don't say shit. It is quiet. And I'm like, why are y'all not saying nothing? And then the next thing you know, you hear this fucking scream. And that scream, the police lady hears because her partner has been jumped by the fucking slug thing. And at one point, you see it literally taking his head and bashing it into the wall. And while all this is going on, our dude Phillip is still sitting there in the same spot. Police lady goes running out, goes up in there. Jake comes out. And at this point, you know, it's like it's like Jake and Graham are like, we can't let nobody know about this. Because if I'm not mistaken, it happened quick and I don't remember, but it looked like Jake shot the police lady because the police lady walked in there and seen her dead partner. And so he has to shoot her because she's going to call in backup or whatever. And when he shoots her, somehow he managed to shoot himself in the foot. So now Jake has shot himself in the foot. Graham and Cole grab him, take him back to the couch in another room in the garage. He's on the couch. Cole's trying to wrap his fucking toe up. Graham goes and gets Phillip. He has now brought Phillip into this little room. So we have 4 of them in there now, the 3 brothers and Cole in this little room. They don't know where this thing is at this point. No clue where it's at. And they're just kind of sitting there and they're talking. And then the next thing you know, Cole's like, I'm thirsty. I'm going to go get a drink because there's a drink machine out in the little garage area. And she's just like, oh, I'm thirsty. I want to go get a drink. Our dude, Phillip, I get it. Graham ain't seen it yet. Jake ain't seen it yet. But damn it, Phillip, you was in there with it. You seen what came out your fucking armpit. And when she says, I'm going to go get a drink, you could have stepped up. You could have said, hey, we need to get the hell out of here. It's out there. But they don't say shit. They just let her go out into the little thing. And she's at the drink machine just so casually, trying to get a drink out of it. The machine don't fucking want to work. And it's just so damn, it was just dumb to me. Like, you got all 4 of you in there together. And just the way they're talking like it's over or some shit. And then a girl's like, oh, I'm thirsty. Let me go out here to the snack machine, get a drink, kick on it a little bit. And then you finally get to see the armpit baby come out from around something. And this thing look like how that cow looked earlier, like it was skinned alive. It's like a little deformed looking weird body, skinned alive, and the head fucked up. And apparently, this thing is the father, is what you find out. It is the father. You don't know how. I don't know what went down. I don't know why that's the daddy still. But they basically have to, it gives you another flashback of like before the dad, it almost felt like the dad was sick. And like he knew he was sick. And I just took it like, did he have cancer? Did he have like Alzheimer's? Because he makes a comment about like when he's talking to him about like talking to him within his own mind, like, I don't know. But then, so yeah, this little slug looking, skin baby looking thing is apparently the dad. And they have to kill the dad. They got to end it, so, bang, Graham steps up, takes gun, shoots the little fucking slug baby in the head, the little armpit baby in the head. Down he goes. They think it's all good now, but guess what? It's not good. Because Graham still got he got the little nipple baby in him. So he's telling them, like, hey, look after everything. He basically grabs the gun, goes to his little office. He's going to kill himself to end the slug baby thing. He's going to end it. So he goes in there, takes the pistol. You see him put it to his chest first, like he's going to shoot himself in the chest where the little nipple baby was. He's going to shoot it there, and then he kind of dropped the gun. And I'm like, are you going to fucking do it or don't? What are you going to do, dude? And then they come busting in. They're like, no, we're not going to let you kill yourself. And they hold him down. Well, then Jake grabs like a fucking some type of knife or something. And he starts cutting his chest open where the little nipple baby was. And they pull it out. They get the little nipple baby out. They pull it out, and it's just like looked like a squid looking thing. And it was pretty good size. Like, I'm not sure how Graham had any room inside for his normal body parts, because this thing had a pretty good size to it when he pulled it out of this hole. And even like whatever, he had to cut a good chunk out of him to get this thing out. So when he finally cuts him, he pulls this fucking squid baby out. And then Jake like throws on the ground, and he kind of gives it this little like, little, how in them old cop movies where you have them little one-liner moments, like little Clint Eastwood shit, like, go ahead, punk, make my day type thing. He kind of does that with the little squid baby with the gun. Bam, shoots little squid baby. And that's going to be it. Well, now you hear the ambulance is coming. So they are all like, we got to get out of here. And now Chloe's just tagging along with them. She's like, we got to get out of here. They're all going to jump in the little SUV and they're going to take off. And I'm like, once again, I watch a lot of ID channel, a lot of crime shit. They know whose garage that is. They're going to go in there. They're going to know who Graham is. They're going to find a couple dead cops. And they're going to be after you. But they all jump in the little SUV, taking off. And Graham basically just tells Cole, because she's like, where are we going? He was just like, just drive. Trying to be all dramatic and shit. And they're just driving off into the night. Like, without a fucking clue about what just happened. Where did the armpit baby slug come from? And why was it the dad? I don't know. It was almost like, was it, I don't know. Maybe there's a deeper meaning behind this shit. I'm just not a very deep minded thinking person, people. But, and then that's the ending. They rolled into the night, and I'm thinking, okay. But then I got in the habit now when I watch movies, I always like, fast forward to the credits, because every now and then they like to fuck you with them like in the end of the credit scenes, like keep you around for an extra 3 or 4 minutes and then give you this little shot at the end of it. And that's what they did. I was scrolling through the credits, kind of fast forward, and I see something. And then it gives us a shot. Remember the little slug inside the cake container? Well, apparently Phillip did not let it out. So I'm not sure what Phillip had inside of him. Maybe that thing, there was more than one, because back at the house, after they're riding off into the night, in the house, it shows the cake container is now open. You see the little bottom of it, little blood on it, and you see a snail trail, a little slimy snail trail. And the camera kind of follows it. And then you see the little snail slug thing go under the door of where the dad's room was. That door they had boarded up with didn't have a door handle. So the door could have swung open either way. It goes in there. And that's how it ends. It ended in a way of trying to be like, we're going to make a second one. No, I don't know. If there is a second one, you got to explain to me where the fucking armpit babies come from and how that shit goes down. But I was as excited as I was, because it's an Australian horror movie and I'm big fans of it. It started off good. There's a part of me that wish it would have stuck to the demon possession type thing. If there was a deeper meaning behind the slug babies and shit, the little squid babies, I don't know. Please explain it to me. But it was going good in the beginning. It started off, because I was cool with it being the possession shit, and I thought, okay. And then I really didn't like it when it didn't. When I started seeing the slug thing, because the slug thing just made me think it's like some alien shit that came out of, I don't know, and I didn't really understand that. And that annoyed me. You know, I get it. Sometimes in movies you're not supposed to understand everything, but damn it, where the fuck did the slug babies come from? But and that and maybe by the way I talked about it, you already kind of know where I'm going to rate this thing. This is a kill to me. I'm not going to rewatch this. I don't want to rewatch it. I'm not mad that I watched it because, like I say all the time, I love horror movies. No matter what I say or my opinion is, I still tell everybody go watch the movies. Go watch them. Make your own opinion. Don't, I just like to get on here and joke and have a good time and talk about them. But yeah, go watch the movies on Shudder and have your own opinion. And but yeah, for me it's a kill. I'm not going back to it. I'm glad I didn't have to like buy it. But yeah, not a fan. Enjoyed it, because it's horror, but not a movie I'm going to watch again. It's a kill, family. But yeah, that's it for this week's show. And so I appreciate everybody who listens. I appreciate the ones who, tune in every week and give us, a few minutes of your time. I do want to give a quick earlier, a couple days ago, we had a comment on the YouTube page and somebody new, we have our faithful few that's always commenting in there, but we had us a new one this week, and I don't their name. I'm not going to give out their name, but if they're listening to this, I want to read what they wrote, and you'll know it's you. They put in the comment thing. And it said, "This guy is awesome." I took that as I'm the guy, you know. For me, but this guy's awesome. I have listened to Solo and Longlegs, which was the last two shows. Plan to start at the beginning and get caught up. I love horror movies and have finally found the perfect podcast. 5 stars for sure. Now, um, that just means you is as fucked up as we are. If we're the perfect podcast, and hey, there is a few, we know we not everybody's cup of tea here, people. We know this. There's an old country song back in the day. Some girls don't like boys like me, but some girls do. Same way with this shit show podcast. We know we not everybody's cup of tea. We know this. But for you handful, for you fucked up Fright Flick family out there, hey, I'm good with it. I'm down with the few, but I appreciate the ones that fucking listen and comment and you know are down with just the way we do things here, the way we talk shit and joke about stuff, and I appreciate it. I appreciate all the if you have subscribed or followed along on the social media. We do have a website, frightflickfmkpodcast.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X. I haven't basically all I really do there is I kind of put posts of what's upcoming, or if there's a post from somebody else that's about movies or something, I'll repost it and stuff. I do follow like some funny stuff. I will share that stuff every now and then, but here lately I haven't, because I swear people I scroll through and some of the normal stuff that's like the funny pages I follow, like the memes and shit. Every fucking thing right now is about fucking P. Diddy and some baby oil. And so I'm just like, man, I'm tired of fucking seeing P. Diddy and baby oil post. And so, I'll scroll through and it's like a fast scroll, and I'm just like, no, I'm no. And, I try to I don't follow news unless it's sports news, really. So yeah, any type of like anything, if it's not sports news, I get it from maybe like Facebook or TikTok or some shit because I'm scrolling and I may see it. But yeah, I appreciate everybody who listens. Oh shit, I almost yawned just then. But hold on, everybody grab your drink, take a sip with me. I appreciate everybody who stops by and listens to us. Now, like I told you earlier, next week, special episode, Renee Huff runs the Haunted House Fear Fest Festival. And I'm looking forward to sitting down and interviewing her and talking to her and letting the Fright Flick family get to know who she is and what she's about. And but yeah. Oh, there is for the ones, who may have already left by now, that's fine. But before we get off, I want to tell you a little funny story. I thought it was funny now, but this week's episode was supposed to be not this. This week's episode was not going to be a movie at all. This Friday that you're listening to right now was supposed to be my interview with Renee Huff about her festival. That's what was it was set up, locked in. That's what we were going to do. And it was all set up. We do the meeting and we do the interview. Like we got on, because she's in New York, in Kansas. So we get it all worked out. We get on here, we start the show, we're doing the interview, we're going through it. And I was going to finish that up, get it all done. And that was going to go down on this Friday. Today, as you're listening to this, was supposed to be that interview. We're almost done with the interview, me and Renee. And it's winding down. And I look up at my screen and I'm scrolling my mouse looking for a note or something. And as I scroll across, I realize at the end of the interview, pretty much, that when I scrolled across my screen, the little fucking record button was not lit up. That's right, people. The one thing that I have to do, the one thing, the getting on here, talking shit or whatever, that's, but the one thing you have to do, people, you have to, no matter what, you got to push the fucking record button. And this guy didn't do it all the way through the fucking interview. Nothing. No recording, nothing. It was just like we were just chit-chatting, which was cool. Renee's super cool. And you'll find out next week when we actually do it. And I actually hit the fucking record button this time. But yeah, I felt so bad. Like I was so mad at myself. And Renee was super cool with it. She was like, you know what? Shit happens. Let's, we rescheduled it. So next week we're going to do that and I'm going to upload it. But holy shit, I was so mad, because it's like anytime I do the show, it's kind of like always like I'm like, okay, make sure I'm recording and shit, but didn't do it. Like we were talking, rolling into the show, and I never hit it. Get to the end of it. I had to cut her off. She was like mid-sentence. I had to like stop her. I'm like, I felt so bad. Holy shit, was I mad at myself? But luckily she was very cool about it. And so that episode will be coming out next week. We're sitting down and rescheduled because I fucked up. And then it would have been okay. Maybe I could have been okay with it a little more if could have blamed it on the Gentleman Jack. If I could have been like, you know what, I was a few gentlemen's in, but it was not the case, people. When we started recording, I just filled my Yeti. We were just getting started. Couldn't blame it on the gentleman. It was 100% my fuck up. And like I said, all the way through the fucking interview, I forgot to hit the record button. The one thing, if you're doing shows like this and uploading it, you gotta fucking save it, people. And I didn't do it. Rookie mistake. But it's all good. We're gonna be back. I do have another movie that I watched that I've already watched it, took a few notes on it. I'm thinking about possibly releasing it on a Monday, one of your like drive back to work Monday shows, possibly. Still haven't, I'm not 100% yet, but there's a good chance there'll be one coming. It is a movie called The God of Pain. That's the name of it. And be on the lookout. It may be out Monday on that drive to work. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next week getting to sit down with Renee and listen to her, talk about her festival. Be on the lookout for it, and check out the R.I.P. Man. Just Google it. It's on. They have the IMDb and stuff like that. Go show them some support, whether or not you follow along. You follow them on Instagram and stuff like that. But yeah, support the independent films, and I really appreciate them letting me be able to watch a little piece of it. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us for another episode and listen to me just ramble and talk shit about horror movies. Just like you were sitting across from me right now, having us a drink, and me just telling you about this movie I watched. And but yeah, the Demon Disorder on Shudder. Go check it out. Don't not watch a movie or whatever because I get on here and talk shit, make jokes. It's horror, people. We love horror, so go watch it, go support it, and yeah, that's going to do it for this week's show. Yeah, this is that part of it. If you're new to the show, this is your first time, this okay. Just look around the room and do what everybody else is doing. But this is that part of the show, family. We all know the deal. I need you to reach over and I need you to grab your drinks. I need you to gather up your shit and put your chairs away and get the fuck out of here.
What's your favorite scary movie?
We have such sights to show you.
Monsters!
All you have left is my desire.
My name is Frankenstein!
You've got Mars!
No tears, please. It's a waste of good suffering.
See this? This is my boomstick!
I ate his liver with some fava beans. Nice community.
This mess.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It's alive! It's alive!
Here's Johnny. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Welcome to the debauchery.